How is it that circumstances don't matter when the 3D is looking really bad? I am going to break this down in practical real life examples for you so that you can apply it to your own manifestations. And I am going to do my best to make this make sense to you. When I asked my viewers on my channel what they are struggling with the most when it comes to manifesting, this was the most popular answer. And understandably so, because we live in a 3D world. We live in a physical world, and we are used to seeing that as the reality, as the truth. And the 3D has a tendency to be very convincing, which can be challenging when you start manifesting consciously, because then you start implementing a way of thinking that is the opposite of what you have been used to. And that is why it's so challenging, and that is why the 3D feels and looks so real and so unchangeable, which it isn't. Once you start understanding how manifestation works and what role the 3D plays in it, you will have a less of a challenging time to manifest even the most important and the biggest of your desires, and sometimes even impossible desires. I mentioned this in some of my videos, and that is because I myself have manifested things that looked completely impossible in the 3D. So this is why I can tell you for sure that the 3D circumstances don't matter, and in this video I'm going to explain why. But if you need a more personalized help with your manifestations, please book a coaching session with me from the link in the description box below. That is the only way I can help you with your specific situation and help you solve your specific problem that you are dealing with. And subscribe to the channel if you like videos like this. And let's talk about how is it that the 3D circumstances don't matter when it looks really bad. Now, the one thing that makes the 3D be worse than it even may be is to be focused on it. When we are manifesting, you need to accept this. Like you can't, there's no way around this. You need to accept the fact that it's your imagination that is manifesting your physical reality. Even though you are used to this idea of you need to work hard, you need to do things in the physical to make things happen, your physical actions even are a manifestation of your imaginal acts. And this is also why I always say, don't take action. It's useless, it's pointless, sometimes it backfires, because your actions are a manifestation of your current mental state, of your current mental beliefs. Mental beliefs are only mental. So once you understand, accept, a lot of you understand this on a conscious level, but you need to accept this as true, that it's your imagination that manifests your physical reality. You understand also and can accept more easily that your current circumstances are also a manifestation of your imagination. Something to remember here, and I'm saying this because I read a lot of comments, this happened to me, that happened to me, someone broke up, I got fired, I had this problem, I had that problem, I never thought that, how did it manifest? You don't only manifest the things that you choose to manifest. You manifest everything. Your entire reality is a manifestation of your consciousness, of your imagination, and you can only experience life like that. You can only experience a reality that comes from your consciousness. Literally meaning you can experience only what you manifest. Just because you didn't think of something and it manifested. By the way, that is why we don't want to be focused on the negative, because your mind doesn't choose what it manifests. It manifests everything that is in your subconscious. And what is in your subconscious is basically your beliefs. That's more a technical way of saying it. It's your beliefs, it's your assumptions, it's your repeated imaginal acts that then, of course, become beliefs and assumptions. Everything that is in your subconscious has to manifest, and it's on autopilot, and it's not only it's not manifesting the things you consciously manifest, but it's also not only manifesting the specific beliefs. So you maybe didn't have a specific thought about that specific person breaking up with you, or you getting fired from the job, or you having that specific illness. This is also something that I hear here and there, that I never thought I would get this specific illness. Why did I get it? You not only have specific beliefs, you also have generic beliefs, very general. Neville Goddard, and I think both Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy say that, I remember Neville Goddard in specific, that if humanity didn't have an awareness of illnesses in general, or war, or specific problems we are facing with almost everywhere, those problems wouldn't exist. Like, if one person didn't have any awareness of all that, they wouldn't experience it, even in a world where all that exists. So you can only experience what you have awareness of. So you are manifesting both your specific and your general beliefs. So that's why we get ourselves into 3D circumstances sometimes that look really bad. But knowing all this, that your mind manifests everything, your mind manifested that, so your mind can manifest something else. So taking these specific examples of having problems in a relationship, for example, someone broke up with you, this is just an example, by the way, don't take it as any kind of truth at all. Example, someone broke up with you, or your specific person, of course. They said they will never get back to you. They will never, ever want to hear from you or see you or hear your name. It's really bad. They hate you. They said the ugliest things, or maybe you said the ugliest things and you parted your ways and now it's really bad. That's a manifestation. For your subconscious mind, it's not a bad situation. It's just a situation. So what do you do now? The worst thing you can do here is to keep dwelling on it. And I know it's hard. I know it's human to feel the hurt, be angry, etc. In fact, you don't want to suppress these emotions. Let it out however you do that. But it's important that you don't keep dwelling on it, because it's your dwelling on it and you're accepting that as fact that keeps it in the 3D. So what you want to do is to shift your awareness to a different outcome. And this is the solution to every problem you're going through in manifestation. Instead of focusing on this, focus on that. And you want to do this as a practice until that becomes your new habit. So what do you want to happen instead? There are different ways to go about something like this. You can either revise, or you can just imagine how you want your current circumstance to be instead. The more you do that, the more, I have to rephrase this, the more you do that instead of focusing on what is, the more your mind starts accepting that as true. And how things solve is never your problem. I will never know. You will never know what needs to happen in between. The bridge of events, that Neville Goddard calls it, bridge of events happen. Things start happening to bring you from point A to point B. Your job is to be focused on point B. And you will be guided, things will happen. That's the part we don't focus on. So I have to say that though, the more you focus on the 3D, the worse it will feel and the worse it will get, because it will be a vicious cycle of focusing on it, reinforcing it on your mind, and remanifesting it, and then again and again. And this is why when something gets worse, it gets even worse. And on the other hand, when something starts getting better and better, it gets even better and better the more you focus on it. Another example that people are dealing with is financial problems. If you are having problems with money, you can't pay the bills, or whatever you may go through, it's financial problems, just like with SP and everything else, is different from person to person. The worst you can do is be focused on the problem. And we humans, especially when we didn't know that we were manifesting, we would be focusing on the problem, thinking that that's how we will find the solution. That doesn't work. You know that. You conscious manifestors, at least, you know that has never worked. You don't find a solution by focusing on the problem. Even if it's a solution, like I'm talking 3D old way, like finding something to do that will solve the problem, that doesn't work. So in the 3D, in that circumstance, I always say, do what you need to do. You live your 3D life physically the way that you would do normally. But don't focus extra on it in your mind. Don't dwell on it, because the more you dwell on it, the more you worry, the more you reinforce that belief, the more you manifest it. So it gets worse and worse. Once again, this is the worst thing you can do if you are going through a hard, difficult circumstance. It's focusing on it. Because sometimes I have had situations where the 3D objectively, this is a weird word to use in manifestation because everything is subjective, but I'm sure you know what I mean. The 3D objectively wasn't as bad as I was making it in my mind. And this is how I learned to get my head out of the 3D back into my imagination, because the more you do that, the more you get your power back. The more you focus on the 3D, the more powerless you are going to feel, because wherever your focus is, that is what you keep reinforcing, and your mind has to prove it back to you by manifesting more of it. And every time you are going to have an emotional reaction, you're going to worry more, so the problem that you manifest might become, again, bigger and bigger. Instead of dwelling on the problem, dwell on the solution. Leave the how, because when you completely leave how it's ever going to happen out of your mind, of your imagination, of your affirmations, whatever you do, that's where you relax and you start to accept and enjoy your imaginal world, which eventually is going to manifest into your physical world. And the same goes for physical illness, for example. And I understand it's very challenging. People who are going through any 3D circumstances, they have the 3D in their face almost nonstop. But you need to train yourself to literally ask yourself, this is what I did in the beginning. I would ask myself, like, okay, wait a minute, what am I thinking right now? Because most of the time thinking happens on autopilot. So you don't even notice that you are thinking negative thoughts and you're worried, because that has become such a habit that you don't notice most of habits. So I would just ask myself here and there during the day, what am I thinking right now? Sometimes you don't even know what you're thinking, but a lot of times you realize that, okay, I've been arguing in my head or worrying or complaining in my head to someone, or just being worried about this problem. And then the next question is, okay, imagination manifests reality. My thoughts manifest reality. Do I want more of this? And the answer is obviously no. So what do I want instead? And then you start contemplating what you would want instead. Of course, it's health. Of course, it's feeling good in your body, feeling better at least. So you start contemplating that. How would I feel if I were healthy? How would it feel if I could move the way that I want to? Or you fill in the blank. And you contemplate on that. And your mind has to, no matter what anyone is saying, even any professional, this is a topic that I don't want to go into in this video, but no matter what people, whoever they are saying, if you keep your mind focused on healing or health or well-being, your mind has to, because this is the law, has to find a way to prove that to you. And this is what happens. Your mind has to prove your new assumptions and beliefs back to you based on 3D circumstances. So back to the beginning, if you have manifested accidentally, of course, negative 3D circumstances, it's because you have had some assumptions that your mind had to manifest to prove your assumptions back to you. So when you are changing those assumptions to something good, a beautiful relationship where you are loved and respected and you feel good about yourself, that the other person is super happy with you, as are you, or the fact that you are financially super abundant, you live your life happily, freely, fill in the blank, and the same with your body. And it doesn't even have to be very dramatic illness. Maybe it is, but sometimes it's just, I don't know, a little bit of extra weight or whatever it is, a minor pain. You can manifest anything from that to the most dramatic healing. So when you start focusing on that and you are starting to create those images, those thoughts and assumptions and feelings and all that, your mind will have to take that and prove it back to you through 3D circumstances. This is why 3D circumstances don't matter. Because it's a manifestation. You either manifest one 3D circumstance or you manifest a different one. And the good news is your mind completely doesn't care what it's manifesting. You are in charge of your mind and you can choose what you focus on. And this is also what people call choosing the reality. You can look at it like that. I'm sick of this reality, now I'm choosing this, where I'm healthy, abundant, in a good, beautiful relationship, etc., etc. I keep my focus on that. That's your job. Get your focus out of the 3D. I can't repeat this enough. The more you focus on the 3D, the more you dwell on the 3D, it happens in your mind. This is all a mental activity we're talking about. The more you are going to feel like you have no power over it, because it's going to feel more and more convincing the more you focus on your circumstance. The more you get yourself out of it, meaning shifting focus, basically. Shifting focus from dwelling on current circumstances to dwelling on a circumstances that you actually want to experience, the more you are going to, first of all, feel powerful, because this is where your power is. And second of all, you are going to change that story you keep holding on to, and you will start seeing the 3D circumstances shift. That's the law. The 3D circumstances in reality have no power whatsoever. They are held in place by our focus. That's all. So your job is to use your imagination to your advantage, because your imagination is going to manifest whatever the heck you keep imagining. It doesn't care. This is how unforgiving your mind is. It's going to just manifest to right and left whatever you keep feeding it. So choose your thoughts, choose your imagination, and the impossible can happen, which is never impossible, but sometimes I know from personal experience that 3D can look completely hopeless and impossible and someone told you they never want you, etc. I'm going to link a video about free will. Actually, I have several videos where I explain free will and other people in your experience in my SP playlist, which I'm going to link in the description. So check that out if that is something that you struggle with. Everything is interconnected. Every problem in manifestation is solved the same way in imagination by what you choose to focus on. So go back to your imagination whenever you feel hopeless, powerless. Switch it off. Switch off the 3D and your circumstances. Go inside your imagination and stay there. Come back to that. And you will see that the first thing that starts happening is you start feeling better. You start feeling more powerful and more in control because you are in control. And then when the 3D circumstances start to shift, that never ceases to be that never becomes old. It's always magical. The experience of manifesting something in the 3D that you were imagining and wanting and desiring at first is the most beautiful experience, and you can do it, of course. So I really hope that this was helpful. And once again, if you need more personalized help with your specific manifestation, the only way I can help you with your specific assumptions and stories and how to navigate your 3D and whatever you are manifesting and dealing with, that's through one-on-one coaching. The link is in the description box below. I'll be happy to help you. And have a beautiful day and see you in the next video.